Madam President, I want to take just a moment to thank all of the staff that work for the State Senate for all of their work in a very, very difficult physical surroundings this year with the Capitol under major renovations. You know, members, this Capitol opened in 1905, and since that period of time, and members, I'm going to have a picture, those of you that have your laptops, I'm going to have a picture mailed to you right now, and you can take a look at the very first State Senate that sat in these very desks and these very chairs. The picture was taken from the back of the alcove, and there were 63 members of the State Senate at the time. I'm sure it'll show up. 63 members of the Senate. You'll notice that there are a bunch of old men. Look old to me anyway. Most of them have hair on their face. And you'll notice that they're all men because women didn't have the right to even vote when this chamber opened in 1905, much less serve here in the State Senate. Since that time, 548 Minnesotans have sat in these chairs. It's a pretty small group of people that have had the privilege to serve in our Minnesota State Senate and sit in these chairs over the last 110 years. And many historic things have happened here as our state developed from 1905 to where we are today. You know, we were the 15th state to ratify the 19th Amendment to the U.S. Constitution that gave women the right to vote. It's done here in a special session. Looks like we're going to have one again this year. We were the very first legislative body in America to welcome an openly gay member. And we made him our Senate president. His name was Alan Spear from Minneapolis. Very first in the nation. There have been many firsts in this state. And you know, members, I oftentimes look around the ring of the chamber and see Daniel Webster's comment and think about what has happened in this chamber over the last 110 years to develop the resources of our land, to build up our great institutions, our colleges, our universities, our public schools. This is where the Minnesota Miracle, the property tax reform that was leading in the nation. The very first charter schools in our country started here. The very first open enrollment in the country started here. Post-secondary option started here, with votes in these chairs at these desks. You know, and prior to 1971, the public really had no participation here, because for the first 65 years, committee meetings weren't open to the public. And if you think about what these office suites looked like, what it was there was a senator in the office. The committee chairs had offices, the rest of them officed at their desks. And behind that door in the hallway, the door hallways were the same, behind that door was the chairman's desk and the committee room table. And legislation would be considered. And the only opportunity the public had to participate in the lawmaking process if you were invited into that chairman's committee room. And you would come in and you would state what it is you wanted to communicate to the chairman and the committee. You then would be asked to leave. And the State Senate did its work for the first 65 years that this chamber was open. And then in 1971, the open meeting law was passed, and this building was forever changed. And the public all of a sudden had the opportunity to participate in their government. remarkable change that happened in this chamber. And the building was never built to accommodate the public very well. You know what the hearing rooms look like with the big marble columns in the way, the sight lines are terrible. It was never built for the public. And for over 4 decades, this legislature and the Senate and the House have been trying to figure out how can we renovate this Capitol so it can better serve the public. It was never built for that. And finally, we've done it. And it happened in here. And we've authorized a building where the state Senate is no longer going to be officed in the Capitol after 110 years of being here. And most of you are going to spend your last day in an office in the Capitol, those of you that have them here, and you'll be the very last senators to occupy offices in the Capitol. And by December, we'll be moving across the street, all of us, to be officed together. And next session, for the very first time in 110 years, the state Senate's not going to meet in this room. And it'll be a very historic session because it will be the only time in state history that the state Senate has not, or since 1905, excuse me, since the Senate's not met in this room. But you're going to sit at these desks, and you're going to have these chairs. And we're going to set up a temporary chamber over in the new building across the street. 95 University Avenue is the address. And we're going to cast votes, these same desks, and pass laws that will impact the next generation and the next generation of Minnesotans like people that came here before us did. And then in 2017, they're going to move our desks back here for those of us that are still here. And we're going to take our place, and the carpet's going to be new, but it's going to be the same because it's historic carpet. And red, why is it red? Because red symbolizes the upper body. So it's going to stay red. And we'll go about our work. And I don't think you'll see significant change in the chamber, but I want you to take a look around because some things are going to be different. And what will, I believe, be significantly different, and if you haven't sometime taken the time to look around at the beautiful artwork, it's old, it's faded. And shortly, our desks are going to come out and the scaffolding is going to go up. And we're going to have LED lights, save energy. And the artwork is going to be restored, and I can imagine, I'm just hoping that it's going to have the brilliance of it that it did in 1905 when it originally was painted. And I tell you, I drive up to this building, and this year's different because it's all scaffold at the front. And I have to pinch myself that my constituents have given me the privilege to sit here and make the decisions that we make, historic decisions. The most recent being marriage equality. People push buttons in here and we will never turn back, and the state will forever have been changed, and the lives of so many people have been changed. And there have been so many historic votes over 110 years here. So I'd like you to just take a minute and reflect on the great privilege you've been given. Take a look around the room. Because next year will be different. But in 2017, it'll be the same. Our desks will be back. And Senator Westrom, I want to tell you a little story about why we have glass on our desktops. It's not to protect it from the water. It's because these desks are 110 years old. And they've been finished many times. And the last time they finished them, the veneer got very thin. And they thought, we better cut glass for these desks if we're going to preserve them forever into the future, because the veneer is so thin they likely can't be refinished again. So, Senator Westrom, I know I told you that that was there to protect the wood. The truth is, it's actually there to protect the very thin layer of veneer on the desk going forward, so that the next generations of Minnesotans that get the opportunity to sit in these desks will continue to be able to use these very, very historic desks. So members, I just want to thank all of you for your service to our state. I want to thank your families. This is a family sport, as you all know. And families get very engaged in what we do here. And get those of us that serve here and push the buttons get the credit. And oftentimes it's the families that do the work. Senator Gazelka and I talked about that today when his wife was here. How hard it is for those of us that are rural. Leave your families for 5 months to come here. Think back and imagine what it was like when they came on a horse. And they were almost all rural. And they came here and sat in these same desks, and the horses were parked, and they fed hay to them. And imagine they didn't go home every week and they didn't get the mileage that we do. But and if anybody else wants to say anything, I just want to give you the opportunity to, because this is a pretty historic night moving out of here and not being here next year. So, Senator Han or anybody else that might want to reflect on something that's special that's happened here, or a special friendship you've built, or please feel free to do that. Thank you all for your service. I wasn't planning on seeing many of you until March 8th, and it appears like we're going to do that a little bit before that this year. But thank you all. God bless, and have safe travels home. And I'm going to get together with the Speaker and the Governor and see if we can figure out what the path is to kind of complete a little bit of the work that didn't quite get done. I will say, other than the revisers bill, the Senate did do all of its work, including the bonding bill. But because of time constraints, the House wasn't able to get to some of that work. So thank you all, and thank you all of you staff again for all the work you do. There's so many spokes in the wheel here that make this great state capitol and make our state Senate and make our state work. Thank you all.